MLSP family. Yay. Leroy. And look at the, I say notorious, but no, the hidden Todd that everyone's been asking to see. So
I exist.
Yeah, he actually exists. So he's here with us today. And we're talking about juggling life and business, because it's so important. It's not just about creating a successful business, because there's a lot of people who create successful businesses and have miserable lives. I mean, you can see, unfortunately, a lot of depression, suicide, and things in people who are very successful. So it's really important that you learn this juggle early, so that you're able to maintain a joyful and a happy existence, not just create a successful business. And yes, it's a juggle. It's not a balance. I think balance makes it seem like I got this. I've got it figured out, and it's fine.
Or everything is equal all the time.
Yeah, and it's static. Whereas reality, it's a juggle. Like, it's always moving, and you're always shifting and adjusting. So if you can relate to this, if you found yourself out of whack, if things like your family's suffering or your business is suffering, vice versa, because you haven't figured out this juggle yet, share, let us know, say hi. And I get it, because it's real. Like, this struggle is real for so many people. Hello, Miranda and Val. Good morning. So I think it's important that you, like, just to frame this conversation, everything has a season, right? And if you're just launching your business and things haven't started moving yet, you're probably in a hustle season. Like, you're in a business focus season where your business is going to take up more time. But there's going to be times where, your kids something's going on with your children and they need more attention. Maybe your health needs more attention. So there's going to be seasons for each of those things where those are going to take up more resources and more time and more focus than other things. So everything has a season. 5 kids, bless your heart, Mindy. We only have 2 so far, and that is already a lot of work. So I get it. Now, yes, it's definitely, understanding that there's ebbs and flows. There's times when one piece needs more focus than the others, but I think you really need to figure out your non-negotiables. So personally, for me, it is family, my kids and my husband, right? They're just, that's a non-negotiable. They are always there, right? I'll always be a mom. That doesn't just go away. Thankfully, that's real. So that's a non-negotiable. Business, so I can take care of the family, so then we can keep a roof over our heads. We can have the life, afford what we want to be able to do with our family. Health is also a non-negotiable for me. I'm really on a journey of health right now, really focused on cleansing my body, watching what the chemicals I put in. It takes time. I mean, there's a lot of prep and food prep and everything else that goes into that, moving my body, all of that. That's all non-negotiables for me. And then faith, like, no matter what happens, I will be at mass on Sundays or Saturdays, once a weekend. That's my time to give back to God. And then every day I have requirements of myself on my prayer life, on what I require. So for me, those are my 4 things: family, business, health, and faith. Do you have your non-negotiables?
Yeah, whatever you said was good. Sounds good to me. So you guys, I'd like to hear from you. What are your non-negotiables? Because that's core. Like, and I know some people, it's like they have gym time. Like, I was hanging out with some folks this weekend, and one of them was saying, it's basketball. Every day he had to play basketball every day, just for his mental health. Like, that, getting his body moving and being able to, he could effectively shut down his business brain. So he wasn't always thinking about work and business, and he could just do basketball and get his endorphins going and everything else. So, thanks, Brian. So yeah, scroll down. Let's see, what a season for everything. Yep, absolutely. Health, Emilio, absolutely non-negotiable. Yes, I am definitely hardcore keto. And now I'm like super, super clean keto. So I was kind of not dirty keto, which means like really bad, but now I'm not dairy free and really only focused on high quality proteins. So grass-fed beef,
and then wild salmon, and then like dirty things like chicken and other stuff, and bacon and all that are out. Meditate every single day, 2 times. Absolutely. Yes. Michelle, isn't it interesting? Like, can you imagine, like, once you get in the habit of whether it's journaling or meditating, but it's like, I feel like it's into your housekeeping. Like, you're cleaning up your brain. Like, we have so many thoughts. We've got so much coming at us all day long that it's just time to digest and like sweep the floor, like figure out what's going on in our brains and figure out what we're feeling and figure out what we're thinking and just kind of clean house. And I think once you get in that habit, it's beautiful. I love it. But it's like, it like the noise of life, if you fall out of it, you're like, oh, I can't handle this. I need some digestion, some clean mental cleaning time, if you will. Wife, kid time. Absolutely. Michelle's health, family, and business. Yep. Perfect. God, health. Oh, carnivore. Hey, Judy. That's awesome. Husband, time to create art. Ooh, I like that. So carnivore is like it's kind of like a type of keto.
Oh, here we go. Here's a big question.
How do you rewind the clock and net us know with life as you? Oh my gosh. So crazy.
Well, L6 and L7 were very different.
True. So L6 was, so we were like, we had fallen, I think, a little bit below L5. And we decided in like a month's time, we were going to hit L6 so that we could be L6 by the time Live the Dream came.
Well, let's see, when did this happen? How long were we in MLSP? Was it a year and a half?
Yeah, almost 2 years, I think.
Okay. So at this point in time, we were pretty skilled at lead generation.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were good at putting together our own funnels, a landing page and, creating our own lead magnets, creating our own, little trainings. We were not very skilled at all at webinars.
Mm-mm.
Like we couldn't sell out a webinar at all to save our lives.
So we just hadn't done it yet. Yeah.
Yeah. It just wasn't a skill. Yeah. We were pretty new to advertising. And so most of our leads at the time were coming from Twitter, Instagram, a little bit from YouTube. And then we were just starting to get an ad. So we were generating some leads through ads. But through all those sources, we were generating as many as 100, 150 leads per day, most of those with phone numbers. Mm-hmm. And so the way that we'd get signups in MLSP was Leah was very skilled on the phone, mm-hmm. and she would call all of her leads and close them on the phone.
Right.
And that was a hit L6.
Right.
67 signups.
19 days. And it was actually 19 days. Like 21 days of beast mode to do that, and then it ended up being 19 days that it actually all happened.
It was 16 hours a day.
16 to 18.
What was your schedule?
My schedule, and Henry was baby, like 2-3 months old at the time. So daddy was full on daddy duty. He took care of the kids. I woke up in the morning. I said a prayer. I don't even know if I got dressed. I rolled over. I was set up in our bedroom so I could hide away from the kids. Because if you have kids, if they see mom, like, they just seek your help and attention continually. So I was hiding in our bedroom doing this while he was out in the house with the children. And I would start calling East Coast, then Midwest, then Mountain, then Pacific Standard Time. Then I would move over to New Zealand and Australia. And I went
and that was at, like, what time did you switch over to those?
Right.
Time
that
zones?
Was at probably, I wouldn't call anybody past 9 o'clock in their time zone. PM. So I would get started probably about 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'd go till the wee early hours of the next morning. And we had to get a phone burner system to help me with the phone calls. And I was doing 150 to 200 calls a day. And I wasn't talking. If I wasn't talking to Todd, I was hiding. It was just mommy was working. I was gone essentially. And I had a scarf. I was drinking honey tea and doing all the tricks for your voice, because within the first couple of days, my voice started going.
And then at what time did you switch over to New Zealand, Australia time zones?
By the time Pacific hit 9 o'clock, then I'd switch over.
And then you would continue to make calls until what time?
Until I ran out of calls, or ran out of, till 2, 3 in the morning.
AM.
Typically. AM.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's how focused and organized you had to be.
Yep.
Was figure out all the time zones,
Yep.
schedule your day.
Yep. So I sorted my leads based on their time zones and called them, and it was crazy.
Yep. But that led to hitting L6 in MLSP, which I don't remember exactly. It was a good chunk of change, residual income. Let's just put it that way, month after month.
Yeah.
Now L7 was a bit different, because at that time, that was a year, 2 years later. No.
No, it was the
A
next
year later.
Mhm.
It was the next year.
Because we've only been to 3 Live the Dreams.
Oh, right.
L4, L6, L7.
So it was only a year later. So we spent that next year getting just really focused in on getting good at webinars, and selling on webinars. And with what we were able to do with generating leads through funnels and then closing on webinars, we were able to do it in a much more leveraged way. And so it was just a matter of getting the right ads in there, and then just when everything was fine-tuned and to a point where we were making money with our ads, just a matter of cranking that up. And I forget, I don't even remember how many we had to sign up, but yeah, we hit L7, I think, a week before Live the Dream. Was it 9 or 10? It was the 10th year, but Live the Dream 9 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a big one with the
I
part-time
forget how it went. But yeah, that was all done through a funnel and just an automated thing. And it took a lot of tweaking. Like our first version of it was not good. And so we had to, run a bunch of people through it, find out where people were dropping off, split test. I mean, all that stuff. And so it was tedious work, but and we had to keep reshooting videos and doing things in different ways to really tweak it in a way where it was producing well. Go through a couple different versions of ads, but yeah, it was a lot of work. And then we obviously, when people join us in MLSP, we support them on the back end as well. So there's a weekly coaching thing that we do for everyone that joins us in MLSP. We add them to a group chat. There's a lot of things that we do to maintain the retention as well, because they join under a 10-day trial. I think we were retaining about 65 to 70% of people were continuing from the trial to the full membership because of all the work that we were doing on the back end. Right. And so, and again, that took a bunch of coordination, a bunch of planning, a bunch of tweaking to figure out, what is it that's going to keep them in and keep them going, rather than, when we don't do those things. I think our retention was closer to 33%.
Right. Exactly. Question, could I think I was talking when they went through it, so I think it was to me. Could you accomplish your achievement without your spouse?
You got to think about that.
I mean, theoretically, it would have been possible, but I would have at least needed support. So, and the timelines would have been different. So, because Todd and I work together, we're able to shorten up our what we do, because there's 2 of us, right? So I haven't had to master all of the skills. I've mastered like half the skills, and he's mastered half the skills, and we're able to both put in our time, which shortens our curve, if you will. So, yes, I believe I could have done it if I had to all by myself, but it would have taken a longer time. And I still would have needed the support of my spouse to help. I mean, if he didn't even care, didn't support me doing anything, it would have been very hard to like hide away and do stuff and get anything done. So at least the emotional support and understanding from a spouse would have been required. But from a, business perspective, I think either one of us could have done this separately. It just would have taken twice as long.
Yeah, that time during the L6 run when you were making all those phone calls, it didn't feel just like being a single parent, because it wasn't just me taking care of myself and the kids. It was me taking care of myself, the kids, you, and the house, and everything, right? So all the food, all the, which was a lot of fast food.
It's like for a second I was saying, so now you know what it's like to be a wife, but the fast food part, not so much.
Yeah. But also, we were living on a farm at the time. We were living on an 80-acre farm in the middle of Oklahoma, where we had chickens and pigs and all that other stuff that needed to get done as well.
Yeah.
We had guineas. What else did we have on that
Ducks.
farm? Ducks. We had ducks.
Yeah.
Those silly ducks.
Yeah. So yeah, there's definitely a hustle mode. And then, after we did that, our son, a while later, our son was having some struggles in school, and we had to really shift our focus and focus heavily on family and making sure that he got lots and lots and lots of quality time, like extra and beyond, to help him. So then a new season started in our life, and we focused more heavily on that. So everything's a season. Understand that you can't go into beast mode for years on end and think that's sustainable, or you're going to end up miserable. You might be rich, but you'll be miserable, and it's not worth it. So I'm creating. Well, I'm not going to comment on that one. Feeding off. Yeah. And yeah, having support and being together, it's huge.
Well, and that's why it's important to have a community, at least having a community like MLSP, a community of like-minded people, because we've done this talk before about the power of association, about the people that you spend the most time with are going to heavily influence your results, right? It influences your mindset and influences your action, right? And in fact, it influences your results. If you're hanging around people that have a poor mindset, that don't support what you're doing, it's going to be nearly impossible to accomplish whatever goal you want to accomplish. You got to get yourself around people who have the same goals and the same mindset, and then get yourself around people who've already achieved the things that you want to achieve. Yeah. That is so important in your business, and that's why, when you're able to do this with someone like your spouse, makes it that much more easy. It's still hard,
right? And then there's additional challenges with working with your spouse, but but there is a that power of association is huge. And you don't just say like, well, my family doesn't support me, or my friends don't support me, or whatever, and mope and think this is it. Create it. What is holding you back from having a web meeting with someone all over the world? Look at this MLSP community and all of the positive, helpful people that are here. What's holding you back from reaching out to a handful of people and creating a mastermind call where you're touching base once a week, every other week, couple times a week, whatever you need to give you the support and that you need, because you have to do that kind of thing. If you aren't getting that from other, in your real life world, set it up yourself and make it happen. You are
how many groups like that are we a part of on Skype and Discord and Facebook Messenger? Right there.
A lot. We've got we're doing a lot of stuff with YouTube on Discord. We're doing Skype with some other big marketers. We're doing Slack.
Slack. I forgot about Slack.
Yeah. Like we're connected, and I even have a women's group that I do every Friday. I'm starting up now. So create what you need. Don't just whine and complain that you don't have it. Like, make it happen. There's no excuses. You can definitely do it. Number one biggest challenge working with your spouse. How do you solve it? That's a tough question. It's a challenge. I think I don't know.
I think sometimes just not being on the same page.
Yeah.
Because we do different parts of the business. Like when we first started our business or online, started marketing our business online, we kind of had this idea that we were both going to do all parts of the business because we wanted to be interchangeable, and we wanted to be able to say, okay, well, this week I'm going to do this week you can do that. And that way, if someone needed to, I don't know, leave for a day or two, the other one could always pick up the slack, right? And we quickly realized that that's just, I think within the first week, we realized that was just never going to happen. Never going to happen. So that's when we started to compartmentalize the different tasks in our business, and just really started playing towards our own strengths. And so for me, that was a lot of the back end technical stuff, the website build and design. And, like right now, I do a lot of the editing of our videos. I still do all the technical stuff on the back end. Leah, does more of the, she's the one on the camera. She plans out the content, like what the actual subject matter is going to be.
So I think we play to our strengths, but we definitely have different personalities. And when you're working with a spouse or any kind of business partner, you have different styles. And so that's something that you've got to be flexible with and work together on. Because if I was to do things totally by myself, they'd look very different than what they look like together. And Todd's the same way. So that's.
Well, even with events, like most, unless it's the only event that we really go to together is Live the Dream. Other events we'll split up. Either I'll go and you stay home, or vice versa.
And that's just because we have kids. We've got kids that need to be watched. Awesome. All right, guys. A lot of life left for many things. Absolutely. Okay. Make sure you give, I'll go to the Apple iTunes, give a 5-star review to the podcast. Share the love so other people can find this amazing podcast and get the support that they need to help them build the business that they're looking for. And was it today's Thursday? So Brian was mentioning there's a big webinar coming up on Wednesday. Make sure that you get registered, and send that out to your list and your network. And good. I'm messy. I think we're messier than that, Yolanda, more than a blue-green. It's like I'm a rainbow. I'm a lot of colors, but we definitely have different drive and personalities.
Talking about personality colors.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm definitely green, red.
Yeah, and I'm like everything, I think. I'm kind of a mess.
I think you're very much a red and a green as well.
Yes, but I have more of the other ones, I think, too.
No. Okay. You're not blue at all. You're no fun.
With that, let's wrap this up. All right, guys. Have a blessed Thursday. Take care. Figure out your non-negotiables. Do some time blocking. Stay focused, and you can get a lot more done. Take care.